Welcome you all for the first online lecture of the academic year 2021. In fact, we are late and you all of you know the reasons very well. Now the schedule which is provided by the department to the teachers, the schedule I am going to engage as per the timetable allotted to us. I am going to engage this class by 10:30 to 11:30 from Monday to Thursday. And because this is first year, and I feel it is very unfortunate for all of us to have meeting without watching each other. As the conditions forced us to be online, so let us hope that we will do something good, something better in this online process also. Friends, let me tell something about the paper that we are going to study. In fact, as I'm going to be the first teacher to have a sort of online lecture with you, let me make it a little bit familiar to you with some of the important things that you are going to study in first year. Usually we have induction classes that we used to conduct, but all the programs that we have planned have not taken place. Now friends, for the first year you have, in this first semester, you have four papers, and you know it very well that in these four papers, three papers are core paper and one is elective. Amongst those three core papers, I'm going to deal with one of the core papers, that is research methodology. The rest of the two papers, Professor Uttam Ambore will take care of poetry, one of the core paper, and Professor Mehrunisa Pathan will take care of one of the core paper, that is language orientation. And there are rest of the two papers, there are rest two electives out of which you have to choose one. In this way, you are going to study the four papers. Now, this core paper, research methodology, this is paper number 4. And in this paper, we are going to study how we are going to follow or do some kind of research. It is expected that students need to understand, need to follow certain methodology for pursuing a research. This paper is for 4 credits. and it is for 100 marks if you count it in marks. We have 5 units, out of which I'm going to deal with 3 units, and fourth I'll give introductory to you, because it is somehow a paper of research methodology and trying to make you to understand different methods that we used to follow in research. One topic will be for your assignment, for your presentation, or somehow I'll conduct a test. Yesterday I posted on the WhatsApp group that I have created for the sake of this lecture. I have posted the syllabus of this particular paper. Why we are asking, or why we made this paper as one of the core papers in the whole course of MA? What are the reasons for making this paper as a core paper? The reason is students who are pursuing their studies in literature and language, these students need to understand, and these are the objectives of this particular paper. Because as we know, it is a semester system, which according to me, which as per my understanding, I can say that semester system is not suitable for postgraduate courses in language. But some things or certain things are not in our hands. We are not so much powerful to change the whole system, but we have to follow it, although we agree to it or not. And because semester system is having its own limitations, okay, I'm not saying that semester system is bad, semester system is not good. Semester system is good for a class of 20 students, not to a class of 60, 65 students. We have 65 students enrolled for this course. And if you can see on your screen that only 13 students are attending the lectures. Now, I don't know how the rest of the students will be able to find it out. But my friends, if you can able to convey your known classmates or class fellows that we have begun with online lectures, so that they can also join the class as early as possible. Friends, why we are making you to study research methodology? Actually, it is a very common assumption amongst the students who usually join the department that studying literature, studying language means we are going to read some text, we are going to read some poems, we are going to read certain dramas, novels, or non-fiction, or essay, or short stories, or something like that. We are always having this kind of assumption when we join the department, or when somebody asks you to join postgraduate course in Masters of English. Now, when you are joining this course, it is expected that a student should understand, student should be familiar with what sort of research he is trying to follow in the whole period of his course. Now I'm, because some of you have posted on the group that, sir, whether we are going to have an introduction, or what it is. Naturally, I'm going to give you introduction of the paper that we are going to study, because this is the very first lecture after a long gap and after a long time. I'm, I'll introduce myself so that it will be easy for you to understand. I'm Professor Mustajib Khan, and I'm teaching you this paper research methodology for the first semester. And I'm in this profession from the last 25 years. And students who join the department, they usually feel that reading literature, understanding literature is the only work or only thing that student of Masters of Arts in English used to do. But every postgraduate student who joined this department need to have a rational and logical understanding of issues that are going to be the part of the texts, and how you are going to have a logical and rational understanding of a text. We don't have any laboratories like science that we are going to have some practicals entering into the science laboratories and trying to dissect certain things and trying to find out what exactly is happening in the laboratories when certain reactions are taking place. We are not going to do that. We are somehow always used to say that we are not the students of science, and so we are following certain ideas and understandings that are part of humanities. You can, in science, you can make constructive as well as destructive things by understanding science. But what you do when you join humanities, humanities always try to develop a logical and rational understanding of certain things. An understanding of a thing can make you to take decisions at proper time, a proper decision. How will you go? How will you able to get all those things to be done? If this is not a science, but still it is trying to develop a logic and rationale, it requires an understanding, to develop an understanding, and how an understanding can be developed. Understanding can be developed through a sort of research bent of mind. I'm agree to the point that is always made that not everyone is having a research bent of mind to do certain things. Yes, true. You don't have, you need not to have, or I can say, not anyone, not everyone should have a research based mindset. Not at all. Somebody is a creative person. A creative person is not trying to focus on some kind of research. He is creating a things. He's interested in making a things. And that's why you cannot say that everybody should have a research bent of mind so that he can able to have the same sort of understanding that I am talking of. Not at all. If you want to have a research bent of mind, why this is essential? Because the research bent of mind always makes you to understand the thing in its proper direction. Otherwise, we are living in such a contemporary situation where we are not able to understand what exactly is logic and what exactly is rational. And when you write certain things, when you write something in examination, this is the most essential things for every student nowadays, rather than understanding of things. Because we always feel that, okay, once we give examinations, once we get marks, then our degree is over, we are qualified. Not at all, my friend. There are hundreds and hundreds of students pursuing their postgraduate in English, and still they are not able to understand that what sort of work they are doing, why they are studying this course, why they are interested in understanding all those things, why we are making them to understand these things. The reason is that when you try to express yourself, you should have your expressions should appear in a proper way, so that it can make other person to understand it comfortably. Because what is your mode, what is your method of making communication with each other? Nowadays you have a lot of advanced technology appearing in front of you for the sake of understanding of lots of things, but how you will able to write down certain things? You have to write down. Okay, the technique, the medium is changed. Instead of writing from pen and paper, you are writing on laptops and you are writing on screens. Agreed. Medium is changed, but still you have to write down. And while writing down, you need to understand what sort of methods, what sort of way, how I should write down all those things. And this is the most difficult task for most of us, that how to write down certain things, how to make a relation between writing of a thing on one particular topic with interconnected paragraphs. Getting knowledge of only literature is not sufficient to complete the course. You need to understand a perfect way of writing in an academics. How will you write in academics? How will you express in academics? Your expressions need to be refined. Your expressions, your writing skills need to be enhanced. And research methodology is the paper which makes you to enhance your academic discourse writing. It tries to make you to prepare yourself in writing in such a way that it should get a sort of proper way of putting it in front of the people. When you write something, naturally, we expect that it should get published. People should read what you have written. Now, if somebody is trying to read, either it is your creative work or your critical work, why people should read? Why should they pay the money and read the things? Or why should read your words? Why should they spend their own valuable time for reading of someone else's? Because you are trying to find out something different that is hidden in that kind of text that you are reading, the kind of text you are studying. It is somehow hidden somewhere, and you are trying to find it out and put it in such a format that people should able to understand it very clearly, so that they should able to get the things from you and read. That's why the first objective of this paper, why we want this paper, this is to understand research methodology for academic discourse writing and publication in general and literature in particular. What is written in literature? Why we should study literature? It's a big question mark in front of most of the people. And they used to ask most of the time to the students of Masters of Arts in any language, either it is Marathi, Hindi, Urdu, Sanskrit, English, in any language, they used to ask why you study literature, because it is a common understanding that reading literature is for the sake of leisure. Because you have a leisure time. You don't have any work to do, that's why you are reading. Is literature meant for that only? Is literature meant for, in a very, very colloquial and very general term, literature is for only time pass? Like, I'm reading a novel because I don't have any work to do. There's a lot of time, so I'm reading a novel. That was usually people used to say in 19th, 20th century. Now you people are saying that, okay, I don't have any work to do, that's why I'm entering into social media. Why should we read? Because it creates a sort of awareness amongst ourselves. The text that we read is itself a kind of experiment that has taken place. To understand that experiment, to know that experiment very well, we need to follow some kind of research into it. And that's why the second objective of this paper is to create awareness of research. Again, I'm saying, my friends, that no one is forcing each and everyone to do research. No, but we are trying to give some sort of, you can say, training through this, that if you want to pursue research in future, how will you pursue, how will you see to it? And that's why it is to create awareness of research methods. There are different research methods in language, there are different research methods in literature, there are a sort of interface between literature and language. What T.S. Eliot said in his very famous poem, The Westland, the last and the beginning of this particular poem, in my beginning is my end, and in my end is my beginning. What does this mean by? Now, here you need to understand, you need to know that how exactly the poet, or how exactly the dramatist, how exactly the novelist is trying to express the feelings of his own, and making the people to understand how to live in life when he or she comes in such kind of situations. So it is not like proving yourself in the laboratory, it is a laboratory in itself. What happens usually, you know it very well, that in, for example, in chemistry lab, if you are trying to do some sort of work, you know it, water is made up of two compounds of hydrogen and one compound of oxygen, and that's how you can say H2O, and the water is meant for us. You can able to bifurcate the component and try to form, once again, bring those components together in this, in a chemical laboratory. But what you are going to do in this course or in this laboratory, this research methodology, why, you know, although you know the things very well, you are once again researching it. Please understand the first word of this particular paper is research. It is not search. Search is already done. Search is already done by certain class, certain people. You are researching it. You are refinding it. You're trying to once again search it, although it has been searched by someone else, because research is a process which is absolutely a process after search. You're not finding something new. If you're finding something new, it is called as a search. It is expected that it is already existed there. And when it is already existed there, you are trying to once again get it. You're trying to once again re-find it, research it. While doing all those things, you need to have certain frameworks how to do it, how to go, how to follow that particular thing. That's why you have to understand certain critical frameworks and trying to make yourself at least competent to write down academic discourse. This is what we have in our mind when we frame this particular paper called research methodology for our students. Dear friends, this paper is not for only one semester. This paper runs in 4 semesters continuously as one of your core papers. Research methodology paper number 4 in first semester, research methodology paper number 8 in second semester, research methodology paper number 12 in third semester, research methodology 4th, 16, research methodology semester 4th as a 16th paper. So you have research methodology continuously going on. But very interesting thing that we have planned in this is that in the first semester, we are going to understand certain frames of research. And then in second semester, you are having some frames, and then you have to write down in second semester some of the research articles. In third semester, you have to again go with certain frames, and then in fourth semester, you have to write down a postgraduate thesis dissertation of 60 pages, so that you can improve. What you will write in those 60 pages? The big question mark. Because most of our students who join the department, they are having a big question mark in front of them that, sir, okay, you are trying to make us to understand the frameworks. We are not going to detail with the frames. We are not going to talk in detail about those different theories that we are going to study, because those theories are also part of your critical theory and literary theory. So there you are going to talk in depth about all those theories, but here we are going to give you an introductory understanding of all those theories as a part of the framework that we are going to study, or we are going to put it in our research paper or in our research postgraduate dissertation. You have to write down dissertation. So in this we have made 5 units. All those 5 units are part of making you to understand how to enter into research. And that's why the first unit of our study is the research and the process of academic writing. What exactly it means by. I know some of you may have certain idea about research. I find when I'm going through the list, I found one of the students is already doctor. So it is not new that what exactly he or she is going to study. But when you pursue research, what should be the how you should prepare yourself for that. So our first unit is research and the process of academic writing. Here in this first unit, we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about certain things. And if you have any doubts and queries, you can put it in the chat box. You can ask me In between, if you want to ask something, because I know we are meeting online for this semester. So if you have some doubts, if you have certain queries, feel free to ask. Don't keep the queries and doubts in your mind continuously. Please feel free to ask any doubts, any queries you have. Or if you feel difficult to talk on the queries in the online class, you can put that query on, you can ask the query on our group also, write it down on the group and send it to me so that I can able to analyze, answer that thing in the next day's lecture. So our first unit, research and the process of academic writing, where we are going to talk on three subunits. The one is the nature of research. What should be the nature of research? How the research should take place? How this research should go on? How this research should carry on? So we are going to talk on the nature of research. Second thing is how to locate research. Because the big question that is always in our mind is how to locate research. Because it is commonly, as I said you earlier also, that it is commonly known to, or I can say misunderstanding, that literature doesn't have any scope for research. What sort of research that we can follow in literature? What should be the nature of research? How this research should be different in case of the creative text that is already is in the form of search in front of us. Because most of the time students used to ask a question in this paper to me that, sir, why we should do research? What is mean by research for us? Because for science there is a sort of research, because they are going to find out certain things, they are going to analyze it, they are going to dissect it, they are going to point out what are the problems into it. Yes, the same sort of things we are also going to do in the form of the text that is with us. We are going to analyze, we are going to evaluate, we are going to point it out, that how we are going to discuss about the different sorts of literary texts that are available with us. So what should be the nature of research? We are going to talk on that particular point from tomorrow onwards. The big question is in the form of, sir, what exactly we should write in the dissertation of 60 pages at the end of fourth semester? Because if you don't submit that, you are not going to get, because that is your fourth paper where you write down the whole dissertation. And for writing dissertation, you have been allotted with your research supervisors. Those research supervisors, you are going to discuss with your research supervisor that what is your going to be topic. And when you are going to discuss about the topics with your research supervisor, you need to locate the research subject. Which things are suitable for research? Not everything is suitable for research. You have, if it is not suitable, you have to make it suitable for research. You have to convert it in such a way that it should be suitable for your research. How to locate a research? The third subunit of this first point is the process of academic writing. What is a research thesis? what it means by thesis, what is the difference between the two words thesis and dissertation. Because most of the time we used to say very simple word that I am writing thesis, I am writing dissertation. What is the difference between these two words? We need to understand the difference between the two words, or whether these two words are the same. Can these two words be used in the same fashion, in the same way? We need to understand this particular thing. And that's why, what is the research thesis? Then we are going to talk on the intellectual content of thesis. What is it that when you are writing a thesis, how you should write down, what should be the content of it? Because already the person or already the text has already given you the whole story. How are you going to put certain content into it? What is the intellectual content into that particular thesis? How will you organize your work? Because when you are going to write down a dissertation of 60 pages and you are going to write down at the end of second semester 20 pages article, by giving a, probably the teacher will give you the topic and you are going to write down 20 pages article on that with a complete understanding of research methodology. What is the role of supervisor? You need to understand how to deal with supervisor. What is the role of supervisor? Grammar, punctuation, and conventions of academic writing. What are these conventions of academic writing? What sort of grammar we should follow? How this punctuation marks will work in a research dissertation or in research thesis, in writing of research thesis. What is the layout of the thesis? Because these particular things will help you to make your thesis at the end of fourth semester. We are going to make you to get familiar with it in the first semester so that it will be easy for you to complete it in the fourth semester. You are getting so much of a long time. And if you, after understanding this in the first semester, if you start doing this step by step, it will be easy for you to complete it by the end of fourth semester. And that's why I said it's a continuous process. And that's why you have a continuous 4 papers that are for you to study in all the first or all the 4 semesters. This is first unit that we are going to study, research and the process of academic writing. The second unit is research methods in literature. What are the research methods in literature? And to understand the research methods, we are going to understand certain theories. In fact, let me put certain important things in front of you. Maybe, I hope that some of you are not from the literature background. That means literature background means you are not coming from optional English at your graduation level. Because we have open policy for admitting students. Any graduate can able to join the course, and that's why probably most of the graduates are not from English literature background. That's why I want to make certain things clear to all of you so that it will be easy for you in further lectures. That there are various theories propounded by various theorists across the world. Humanists, they used to write down certain theories with what we study from Plato, Aristotle to T.S. Eliot. These are the theories related with the text, the literature that was produced at that time. But later on, the theories moved further and interdisciplinary approach has been taken care of. And that's why theories have changed itself. And so the theory of structuralism, which is one of the most important research method that we use to follow. So we are going to understand the framework of structuralism. Again, I said one thing very clear to all of you, my friends, that we are not going to talk in detail of structuralism. If you want to have in detail, in-depth study of structuralism, then we need to have a whole semester for structuralism only. Structuralism is such a vast thing. Structuralism, post-structuralism, that what we are going to study. All those theories that we are going to study here are from the perspective of research methods. So we are not talking about the debates, we are not talking about different sorts of critiques that used to have a critique of that particular thing. We are not talking of all each and every minute things of all these theories that we are going to study. We are studying theories from the perspectives of research methods. So we are studying structuralism in unit 2 and post-structuralism. This is our unit 2. Unit 3, we are studying reader response theory and we are studying deconstruction. So these are the 4 different theories that we are going to study. Then we have phonemic and phonetic transcription. This phonemic and phonetic transcription is a research method in understanding of a language. And prosody, that is also a part of our research method to understand language. That means 4 theories to understand literature, 4 theories to understand language. SFG theory and lexicogrammar. These are the 4 different theories for languages, 4 different theories for literature. So we are going to discuss in all these things in not again, I'll say, my friends, in detail. We are going to talk on all those different theories as per the framework of research, how much it is required for understanding of that particular framework. So introduction of those theories are part of our understanding of this particular paper. So this paper of research methodology, which consists of 5 different units, this paper of research methodology, which is for 4 credits, will help us to understand, will help us to find out what exactly is the research methodology for writing a thesis in literature and language. I hope that I'm quite comfortable in making you to understand certain things. If you feel any sort of difficulty into it, please ask me. Please send me the messages in chat box here while lecture is going on, or else you want to talk with me, you can have my phone number, you can talk with me. If you want to have any doubt, you want to put it, you can put it in the group. So there are various ways to ask your doubts. Okay, friends?